Hello everyone and welcome to Esportz Premier Series 2023 Assetto Competizione Qualifiers Week 2 brought to you by Esports.in and a Smart Talks free partner glance. I'm Simply YT and joining me once again is Couple for a second day. That is because Moto is racing and of course Couple isn't, so Couple's here with me. Some great action yesterday, a lot of chaos as well. You were involved in a bit of it as well, that casual dive bomb on SD going into, I think, what was that, turn one? And then giving him some casual damage at Monza. What are your thoughts about today's race, Couple?
I think it's going to be a good one. From the likes of the day two, their first day of Group B was quite a fair bit of close packed action, and I'm expecting more of the same. You've got the likes of Tejasvi and Moto, who are going to be up against the likes of Deepak Raj. So those three are definitely the hot ones to look out for here. So yeah, I'm expecting more of some fantastic racing up ahead.
Yep, we are indeed, and you can see the schedule right in front of you guys. We have Spa and Barcelona as the two choices of tracks today. 20 minutes of qualifying at Spa with the top five drivers from the first qualifying moving up to Superpole, where they'll have one shot, one opportunity to set their lap times to secure their positions in the top five. Race 130 minutes at Spa and another 30-minute race at Barcelona, both set from the qualifying plus the Super Bowl positions.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one because we've seen Group A duke it out a couple of days ago, and this is the Group B's turn. The longest track on the calendar, and you have a lot of corners to mess it up. So keeping it neat and tidy throughout the entire lap is one. Raise their hopes and make sure that they are in the contention for that lovely cash prize, and also keeping it on track during the race is what's absolutely needed to qualify for the semi-finals.
Yeah, semi-finals are quite important. I mean, they are your way to the finals, and already we have quite strong contenders in the qualifying in the semi-finals. Sorry, already with people like Davlish Singh, Chandra Pashre, Dipanshu, or number 4 player. So quite a few names that are in there already. I believe even Deepak's in there. Yeah, so a lot of names that are pretty much very, very tough to beat, especially someone with the likes of Davlish. They're not easy to compete with, and the further on we go, the tougher the competition gets. Luckily for these guys, we are still in qualifiers week 2, but that does not make it any easier for them. I mean, we've seen some strong performances from Deepak, Nivan Shakya as well. He has been a very nice contender for the podium positions here. So, people like him, even Yash Vikram actually, who's joining us, these guys have a lot of potential of putting it up there. And on the first day for Group 2 or Group B, these guys didn't see these kind of faces there, so they will bring a new level of challenge. And of course, for someone like Tejasvi and Nivan Shakya, people like Yash Vikram and James Dark Knight, or just Dark Knight or James, whatever you want to call them. They are once again new faces, and yeah, they're just gonna have to estimate as to where they will be, and of course try and do their best because if these guys do come out on the top of their games, which I have seen these guys do quite a few times, then yeah, it can be very difficult for the new faces to put up with them and really try and fight with them for positions at the top here.
Well, it's all to play for. You can't just look at the caliber of the folks who've already qualified and be like, you know what, not worth fighting for. This is your time to kind of make a statement, if you will. It is all to play for. We've got the likes of James Robin, aka Dark Knight, who is making his debut here for the Esportz Premier Series. We've got Yash Vikram, who is also known as Extreme. He did not race for day 2, but has already qualified from the likes of Qualifier 1. So it's good to see him back here for another shot at the prize money. But yeah, like you mentioned, Niman Shakya, a new face for all of us, and I think he's put in a fairly good performance, especially with being on the controller is just that much harder on an unforgiving sim like Assetto Corsa Competizione. So it's good. It's quite refreshing to see the likes of such talent, present here today.
Yes, Vikram is someone who we have seen. He has put in quite the performance earlier on, and yeah, he will be looking to do the same. Shan 7 coming across the line. Deepak Sara, 2 minute 18.5. Shan 7, half a second off, and Yash 1.1 off. So clearly not the best lap for Yash. But I really haven't seen him anywhere practice much. So I don't think this really is a very representative lap time for Yash, to be honest. I think there's a lot more coming in for him, and yeah, I do believe that Yash is someone who can be fighting Deepak and Moto for that win here. So I do think a very nice top three battle coming up here for P1 between Deepak, Yash, and Moto.
Well, let's hope that Tejasvi is not forgotten today. He put a stellar performance in the first day for Group B. Times are slowly coming in right now. Moto in the top step with the 2:18.3, so the low 2:18s is where the pace is at right now. I'm very much expecting Tejasvi to just blow it out of the park with the 2 minute 17. I mean, that's just my bold prediction here. Very neat lines from the looks of it. Very much in control of that McLaren. That blue and orange McLaren Racing is the default livery, but yeah, so far so good on this lap. We'll have to wait and see how it comes, because Spa is just one of those tracks where you only have 20 minutes in qualifying. An out lap, sorry, one round of the circuit is 2.5 minutes, and you cannot really be messing it up, because that's just a huge loss in time. But yeah, enough waffling. We got Tejasvi, who as I rightly predicted does a 2 minute 17.0. Wow, now that is called making a statement there, ladies and gentlemen. I think that might well be the fastest time that we've seen throughout Qualifier 2. I'll just go and check our sheets to confirm that, but yeah, that is how you make a statement for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't even think there is a requirement for Tejasvi to just set another lap here. I don't think that is even required at this point, because 1.2 seconds of an improvement from Moto, from Deepak, it is possible in the 12 minutes remaining, but I mean, that doesn't mean Tejasvi is not going to sit here and try and improve. So I think, yeah, the more he improves, the more it is going to be harder for these guys to catch up. And if you're going to see an absolute Tejasvi domination today, it does make me think, for someone with the caliber of Tejasvi, who has put in absolutely dominant performances so far in the 2 days that we have seen him. I mean, this being the second day, but from what we have seen from him, he has been very, very good. Uh, it does make me wonder, where does he fare up against someone like Davli Singh, because that is also a sort of a trait that we have seen with Davlish, where Davlish, I mean, he just absolutely knocked it out of the park. 2 seconds a lap faster than someone in P2. So Davlish doesn't make it easy for anyone to compete with him. Question remains: does Tejasvi? Yeah, can Tejasvi compete with with someone like Davlish? Maybe with a little bit more time to practice. Maybe at a track that kind of suits him as well. To be honest, I'm not sure which tracks do suit him and which don't. I haven't really spoken to him so far, but maybe if there is something that where he is extremely good, then I guess he does have somewhat of a chance of going up against Davlish.
Oh my god, will you look at that? That's another nearly 3 tenths of an improvement. And now he's in the 2 minute 16s! This man is absolutely knocking it out of the park. Tejasvi with a 2 minute 16.785. Moto did do a better lap last time around. He also is now in the 2 minute 17s, but oh boy, look at that gap. God damn. Okay, having said that, just looking at our leaderboards, the data that we collected for this session, and for the other group, which is Group A, Florida Man aka Sarthak Ray put in the fastest lap here at Spa on day 1, and his fastest lap was a 2 minute 17.530. So already the Tejasvi is well and truly on top for Spa, and that's looking very, very promising for him for the prize money for Qualifier 2.
Absolutely. I mean, if the trend is to continue on like this with Tejasvi, well, you can only guess as to what could be coming for him. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of out of words right now, because Sarthak set an already a very quick lap time, and then Tejasvi has gone ahead and beat that. So yeah, I mean, these are kind of good things to come, not only for the races that will be coming up this week, but also for the semi-finals, because if he constantly keeps on improving like this and keeps knocking it out of the park for our expectations, and keeps on improving, then I mean, the sky's the limit, I believe, for him.
Indeed, and that's exactly what you want to see. Close racing at the top. Now the top is slowly spreading up here in Qualifier 2, but yeah, in Qualifier 1 we had domination in the name of W. Singh. This is not quite there yet, if I may say so, but that is still no small feat to be that far up. So the likes of Moto, who is around the 2 minute 17. Oh, that's a huge oversliding moment there for Yash Vikram. And yeah, that's the end of his lap. Coming back to the leaderboards right now, Sarthak Ray with a 2 minute 17.580. Moto trying to best that and to move up the global leaderboard here. He's currently on a 2 minute 17.790. So he's got a little over 2 tenths to find if he wants to be pipping the likes of Sarthak Ray. But looking promising so far. But yeah, he's gonna have to get a move on and see if he can keep his wits about him and improve. Deepak not too far away from Moto, they're just separated by hundreds of a second. So expect some lovely things from Deepak as well. Definitely don't count him out. And yeah, then from P4 all the way to P7, you've got four cars nicely lined in the stern, all separated by under half a second. So that's some nice close competition there between your lead pack and the mid pack.
Certain 1 second separating these guys. Deepak is not too far off, as you said. Yeah, let's not count on Deepak here just yet. He could be using the full potential of that Audi uh, to close in for sure. But I think it was SD yesterday that was also in the Audi, and he did an amazing job with saving the tires on that car and finally launching an attack on Sarthak race. So I think that is something Deepak should also be looking to do, because over the race, of course, Audi is one of those cars that really just runs out of tires very, very quickly. So I think right now Deepak should just focus, at least for the race, on just taking it easy, not making mistakes, and when the time comes, of course, go for a nice little move. But yeah, this is a bit of a factor that we also saw on day one for Group B, that Moto and Deepak kind of just got stuck in a race together. And yes, they were pulling away from the pack behind them, but they were also losing the gap to Tejasvi. So I think rather than really fighting each other, unless it's pretty obvious that they can't really go for the win at that point, they should really just work with each other to get close to Tejasvi, because if not, this man's just gonna fly away into the distance, and yeah, he's just gonna do a Max Verstappen, and we're not gonna see him for quite a bit in the race.
Yep, that is definitely a possibility. Now we've got just under 5 more minutes in the qualifying session here. This is qualifying 2, day 4 in Spa. We've got Superpole coming up right after this. But looking at the mid pack from P4 onwards, you can definitely see that gap 2.3 seconds for Kiran. Yeah, he's had another great showing of qualifying pace. But if you can recall what happened to him last time around, he did get caught up in incidents during the race, and yeah, that got the better of him, unfortunately. Let's hope that it's all clean. Clean whistles is what we're looking for the race, because from the looks of it, from the quali pace, it definitely looks like we've got a very close grid. So I'm expecting a nice train of cars battling it out here at Spa, and that is certainly something that you guys want to be sticking around to watch out for.
Totally. Top 3 all within a second, and if you have a look at from P4 from Kiran all the way to Yash Vikram, only half a second separates all of those guys. So Moto coming across the line, not an improvement by it. But yeah, if you look at from P3 to all the way down to P7, all of these guys are within half a second of each other. Actually, if you look at P4 all the way down to P6, those guys are within 200ths of each other. And we did see Yash Vikram making a mistake earlier, so he does have a few tenths in his lap left. But I completely agree with you there. These guys, yes, they'll be split up into 2 groups during the race, but both the groups will be really, really close to each other, and that is very, very obvious to see, as Moto makes a mistake, goes off wide after the
That
chemistry.
could be his last mistake. There's not a lot of time remaining, and if he is going back into the pits, he has to jump out as quickly as he can and start that hot lap, because that was a very misopportune time to be making a mistake. because yeah, this is it. This is the final laps in. I don't think anybody can actually jump out of the pits right now and actually make it through. So let's stay on board with Deepak Raj. Oh, he is looks to be, yeah, he is definitely on the limits. Thought for a second he was coasting, but is not the case. He has to find a he has to find half a tenth. That's what he really needs to find to at least get into the front row, and also have a better shot at the prize money, because keep in mind that they are 2 tenths away from Sarthak Ray, who is that top gunner from qualifier from Group A, and yeah, it's all to play for here. But a very nice and tidy lap so far, using just enough of the track, not pushing, not over revving, not over driving the Audi, which is so easy to do given its geometry. And yeah, it looks to be some very effortless, smooth, and slow looking lap. But you know what they say in racing, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So let's hope that this is the one that counts. He will have one more opportunity, but this has been a fairly clean looking lap so far, with just one more sector to go, which is just two more corners. A little wavery on the exit of bus stop, and yeah, he's going to be coming across the line. It will not be an improvement. Oh, it does. Okay, he has moved up 2 tenths, and I think that's just on the precipice there. And Deepak's going to call that a day. I'll have to look at the times a little more closely to see if he's done better than the likes of Sarthak Ray, but yeah, they're definitely close to each other. How is Moto looking simply?
To be fine so far. Lap couple, while we have been on board him, hasn't made any mistakes. He seems to be taking the lines perfectly. Car seems stable as he is on the exit of the corners. Just looks like a very nice and speedy lap here. Goes off wide there a bit. Not an invalidation in GT3 cars. Of course, the rules are slightly modified for the track limits, but these have posts like that. But I think Moto also realizes that as he invalidated his lap as he wide on 1 and his anger out on the wall. Poor Barry Rate had to do nothing with it. But moving on to the McLaren of Niven Shakya, car number 159, 159. A very nice looking livery on the McLaren as well, coming into the bus stop chicane, braking at 100. Missed the apex for the first bit. Gets a good exit out of there. Will he improve? Will he get into the top 5? Does improve, but stays in the same position. Not enough to move into the top 5. Mohammed Faiz has finally joined the server at the end. And one lap wonder, can Faizan make it to the top 10, top 5? No, he cannot. Okay, that was interesting. FIFA Kanak is on the lap as well right now in the red McLaren. He's already in the top 5, so he can't really knock anyone out. But I guess an improvement is always an improvement. Coming through to the bus stop chicane. And on the exit, very nice, little bit loose on the rear there, but nothing too much to worry about. And improves, but remains in the same position. So a great qualifying one, a very unexpected result as well from Tejasvi. Not in the sense that we were doubting him to get a pole, but in the sense that he has beaten the previous set record by Sarthak Ray by quite a margin. So Sarthak, get your game up. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, an amazing qualifying by Tejasvi and a very good show by Moto as well as Deepak. So, how do you like to sum that up, Kapil?
I think this is exactly what we were hoping for. And in a few moments' time, we're going to be jumping into the Super Bowl, where they'll get one more shot to improve on that lap. And we might see one fine mistake from anyone, and the order might completely turn upside down. So stick around for that. We'll be back in just a moment.
And we are back after a very quick and short break. The Superpole coming up in just a few moments' time here. Tejas, we took both, had a little bit of a chat with Davlish in the middle, and he says he can do a 2 minute 15. So maybe a little bit far from yeah, what we expect. And this is once again your schedule that is coming up here. Top five drivers in Super Bowl. So, what do you expect, Kapil? Who do you reckon has it to dethrone Tejasvi if Tejasvi can be dethroned?
I think the downfall. I'm gonna go on, the devil's advocate kind of a style here and say that Tejasvi is gonna have his own undoing. I know he's got a lot of pace there, but I think he's gonna make a silly mistake somewhere along the line lap and just get a sneaky little invalidation. That's what I'm expecting. Moto's been really flaky throughout the session, but I have a feeling that in this pressure scenario, he's gonna come out on the top step. So I will. Yeah, that's my predictions for the session. What about you, Simply?
That is interesting. I Now that you've played the devil's advocate, I kind of don't want to go safe. I kind of also want to, I guess, bet on someone like Deepak or maybe even FIFA Kanak. But considering what Motor did on day one at Spa by casually just running off wide, just so Devon's going through and invalidate his lap before it even began properly, I think, I'm probably gonna place my bets on the Tejasvi. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it safe. For now, I'm gonna say that they the pole here today.
Ah, what a boring selection. But our boy Kiran has been showing some great face. Let's see if let's see if he can surprise us because he was my favorite in qualifier one. He's a little late to the blooming, he's a little late to the party, but I am very interested to see if he has a little bit extra with all that practice between these qualifiers. So I'm very curious to see whether he can show us what he's got with all that practice, because the likes of FIFA Kanak, yeah, he was in that 2.3 second gap to him, and I believe the other driver who just missed out was just behind Kiran. I'll have to look up the name, but yeah, it is quite close in the mid pack between P3 and P7 almost. So P4 and P7. But with that said, simply why don't you walk us through the lap of the Ferrari?
Exactly. Kiran in the Ferrari coming into turn one, braking at 150, going slightly wide there, taking the curb on the exit, getting a very nice exit out of there, playing it slightly safe now, complete the flat through this straight and then coming up Eau Rouge. Now Radion still flat by the sounds of it. Very long Kiran there. Now on the Camel Straight on an F1 car, you'd have DRS. Over here, you do not. But that's completely fine. He's got a very good exit. Almost 272 kph, almost not braking. Just as the curb starts on the left-hand side, taking all of the inside curb, staying on the outside to turn in and then go back to the outside. Perfect lines by Kiran through this very technical bit of the track, braking slightly late and going wide and cutting right back in. So doing a very late apex kind of a line there, coming through the Lance Stroll corner. He's done it brilliantly, to be fair, just the right amount of track. Puon down to third, right back on power as soon as the grip on the tires comes back, and flat out all the way to Piff Paff. Coming into Piff Paff, second gear. Ideally, you'd want to mount the curb on the inside there, as well as here, so it'd be curb, and curb. It's completely fine. I guess he's just trying to make this corner's exit much better. He's gone off slightly wide there. Lucky to not have invalidated it, but absolutely no worries. Completely flat through here as he approaches Blanchimont, which will of course also be flat. For now, he can take a little bit of a break after that very interesting section, but soon will come the bus stop chicane that will take all of that rest away. Flat through here. Next up, bus stop braking right at the 150 board there. Very nicely done. Using the curb on the inside as well as on the second bit of the bus stop, coming across the line with a lap time of a 2 minute 19.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be pleasant. I think he'll be pleased with that lap. Not, yes, tentative, no doubt, but he has to get to the finish line. You know, we are just expecting somebody to screw up there, so any time is a good time if the other guy just doesn't keep it clean. Just noticing right now that the track is so long that we're gonna have to wait for an eternity for the next car on its out lap to start its lap. So yeah, it's just smart things, I suppose. Alrighty then. So Optimum Motorsports FIFA Canuck is your P4 driver from qualifying session. Now I'm going to walk you through his hot lap on that McLaren, which the experts are saying is a fairly overpowered car. Now he's spotting the braking marker on your far left around the 100-150 meter board, braking as late as you can into Larso's, just diving into the corner, hoping that you don't run wide at that yellow sausage curb. He was fairly tentative on that bit. Now looking into Eau Rouge and Radion, the iconic uphill right-hander, going really wide there and getting out of shape. He definitely lost a couple of tenths there in the hesitation of all of it, but still out, still keeping a valid lap there, keeping it within the white stuff. Braking at the end of the Kemmel straight, not carrying as much speed as he would like. Very safe on that exit there, using all of the exit curb. That's what the track allows. Sweeping into Bruxelles to see if you've got any more traction that the car will give. Very traction heavy zone there, easy to lose your rear end. A lot of corrections from the likes of FIFA Connect during this lap, so he will be looking to keep it a little cleaner. Goes really wide, but I think that's maximizing the track width, if you will, and that's lovely to see. Going into the campus section, a lovely right-hander which flows into a left-hander there. We've had a lot of accidents in real life in this location, so quite easy to get wrong. Using all of that AstroTurf at the entry of Stabilo, the car drifting wide, going into the Blanchimont corner, which is coming up, which can be taken flat out at around 200 and I want to say 10-20 kmph, and just like flying out wide, hoping not to invalidate on the exit, braking as late as you can, going into the bus stop chicane. Easy to get wrong by drifting out wide or jumping onto the chicane, and I think he did a fantastic job there. FIFA Canuck improving on or pipping the likes of Kiran there with a 2:19.1. Wow, good lap there.
Yeah, quite a good lap. Nice position for him to start with that lap. Question is, can Moto break the streak of not being able to set a lap here? Can he actually set a lap now? That have to wait and see. As he once again in the Porsche, Jhadu Porsche Racing Porsche, comes across the bus stop chicane, then taking nice wide line to begin his lap to maximize the straight. And we'll watch on board as he tackles this Francorchamps circuit for yet another time. Braking at 100, second gear, getting very close to the inside wall there. Great line from there. Slight bit of correction on the exit, but nothing that would have lost him time. Sticking really close to the wall to once again minimize your track distance. Going through Eau Rouge, and now Radion still flat in 6th gear. Great stuff. The tires not really won the car light because there isn't much fuel, so you can very easily pull that off. Now on the Camel straight, braking just where the curb starts, taking the inside apex, and a lot of the curbing on the left hand side on the exit up all of the curb to maximize the minimum apex speed or minimum exit speed, whatever you want to call it. Downhill right-hander that goes even further down, turning into a downhill left-hand natural corner. Third gear off wide a little bit. So far has been well for Moto. No invalidations just about yet. Through Puan in 4th gear, deciding not to use the engine to slow down even further, I guess, to make that would have lost him too much time. Now coming into Piff Paff. 3rd gear, missing the apex again on the inside. I guess that's some sort of a line that these guys have to be optimal sort, because they do seem to be avoiding that apex, that first apex that they do see. Great exit out of the doubles here, getting really close to the that wall's dangerous. I mean, it can catch you off guard if you're going side by side through there. And yeah, if the other car just does not leave you any space, you're hitting that wall, and yeah, well, that's your race over. Instant suspension damage. Blanchiment, of course, undoubtedly flat. Coming into bus stop chicane, braking just before the curb starts once again through the bus stop chicane. Great exit by Moto. Come across the line. Where does Moto end up? To 18.6, almost half a second ahead of FIFA Khanak. A great lap by him. But what can Deepak do? Can Deepak take Moto's position away, or will he have to settle for less?
Well, we are going to find out in a couple of moments' time. But yeah, the track, I'm not sure if it's the track or if it's the drivers, just the nerves getting the better of them. But these times are a fair bit off from their qualifying times. We'll have to see if Deepak will actually give his best shot, because track evolution is definitely a thing which is going to be on his side right now. Very neat and tidy through lassos, just trundling down the second part of the straight to take it neat and tidy to Eau Rouge and Radion, and that Audi V10 engine just roaring through the Camel straight. Gonna be spotting his braking at the curb start on the left, spotting it nicely, carrying a lot of that speed. Don't want to be taking too much of the curb, I think just enough, and going to be letting his car drift wide, using very nice amount of the track there. Heavy braking, letting the car drift wide there to carry the speed, more like a V-shaped corner exit there. Nicely done, getting a big amount of oversteer on that left-hander there, and that is going to be hurting his lap quite a fair bit. And now he's going to have to be on the limit for the rest of the lap if he wants to be making any amends and getting on top of Moto's solid 218.6. But it is not looking too good with that exit, because he's lost time all the way through Puan, and yeah, that is something he'll have to get on the back of his mind to push along. Now it's a case of maybe pushing a little too much, or going at the edge of the track limits there, super close to the white line and just inches away from an invalidation, but he keeps it clean. How much will he want to dare push it through Blanchiment? Oh, very tidy there, not taking too much off the curb, just wants to finish this lap, because yeah, P3 is still way better than P5, and that might be his rationale there. As he comes across the line. Oh, easy 5.5 tenths. I think he had a lot in the bag. It just goes to show you, maybe he had a 2 minute 17 had he not made that mistake.
Yeah, it could have definitely been possible. I mean, there were a few other mistakes as well, other than that, but 217, maybe a 217.8, maybe a 217.7 were definitely on the cards for Deepak. All eyes on Tejasvi then in the McLaren to turn one instantly. There were no corrections at all compared to the other drivers. Amazing line through there. Through into Oruj, then just has to anticipate the corner, and he does so properly. That McLaren bouncing on Oruj Radion now on the Camel Straight, but absolutely tanks all of that. All eyes on Tejasvi, and will he screw up going into turn number? I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, he has made a slight bit of mistake. He's missed the apex on the inside there. Has had a bit of a moment twice at this point. Losing the rear, braking once again where the curb starts. And double apex line there. So different from the other guys once again. And lifting off for this corner instead of using much of the brake. So interesting lines with Tejasvi. It doesn't look faster because usually people associate faster with a lot of aggressiveness, but so far Tejasvi has been very, very smooth on his inputs, and you don't really have to be aggressive to go fast, and that is something that Tejasvi has shown time and time again. A few corners where he has drifted off wide, but no track limits for him just yet. So great stuff. Being right on the edge of limits. Now as he comes on this very long straight once again, not really a straight, but it is flat, so I guess you can consider it a straight through Blanchimont. Of course, flat, getting close to the curb, but nowhere close enough to be able to run wide and have the possibility of the car bouncing. Great bus stop chicane then. On exit, he will come across the line now for the 17.3. So even if Deepak had set a 17.7, it wouldn't have been enough to stop Tejasvi at all.
Man, that man is an absolute machine. Even with the mistake, he did a 2 minute 17.3. I mean, I think barring that mistake, he would have been well on his way to his best lap of the entire session, which was a 2 minute 16.6. I believe I might be mistaken there, but yeah, just had so much raw pace that it just really didn't matter if he made a mistake or two. So some fantastic showing there from Tejasvi. He's taken my devil's advocate prediction out of the way, and I think a treat to you simply for getting that right. So he will start on pole for Spa. So we've got 30 minutes of racing coming your way real short. So stick around for that, and we'll see you in a bit.
And yeah,
Hey,
that
folks,
was yeah,
go on.
a very interesting session right there, couple, wasn't it? The Super Bowl. Hopefully, we get to see a good race one as well while we're at it.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. But you've got two tricky, I would say, traffic congestion zones, if you will. Actually, not two, just one, which is Orouge and Radion. That's how you start the lap. So if the folks at any point in time are unable to keep it too wide going into Eau Rouge, then you've got Carnage lying, no, just waiting for you at Radion. So 30-minute race here at Spa coming your way. But Tejasvi on pole, Deepak in P2, and Moto in P3. So let's jump into the action when we can, and yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Gonna be a good one, certainly. We have never been disappointed with the race at Spa ever. I mean, Spa is always one of those tracks that has produced some amazing qualifying and some amazing races, and has always put out a shocker. So yeah, it will be quite interesting to see what these guys can certainly pull off. But of course, in the meantime, we'll have to wait and see, because Tejasvi is on pole, but Deepak and Moto will have the slipstream. And of course, as I did mention earlier on in the qualifying, the last thing that these guys want to do is repeat of day one, where they end up fighting each other and not really end up catching Tejasvi there. So that is something that they will have to keep an eye out on, you know because it's always better to let the faster guy just go and catch the cars ahead rather than sit there and fight him. And of course, both of them collectively uh, could definitely do something about Tejasvi's gap, just slipstreaming off of each other, letting each other pass on the straight, not on the corner, but rather on the straight, so that whoever is taking, for example, sector 2 much better, I guess you can let that car ahead, so that they lead you through sector 2, and then sector 3 with the slipstream you pass them, and then of course sector 1 you're better, and then you do this, and you pass each other on the straights, and you don't really fight each other, and that is what sort of brings you towards that one car. And of course, with Aegis, we see two cars coming at him at the same time. Well, he is going to be very much worried at that point. And yeah, well, just do whatever he can to defend from two cars coming at him, but that's really not possible, is it?
Well, we'll have to wait and see because that McLaren is quick, and I think the likes of the Porsche and the Audi will definitely want to get up close and personal with that car as quickly as they can. Because the last thing that you want to know is that he's just got that raw pace on him, and you might just very well be a sitting duck while he drives off into the sunset. So we're just a couple of moments away. I think we've got one gentleman who has disconnected from the session. I believe that is no. I think we got all 10. Not sure why there was a shuffle in grade, but simply, why don't you take us through the race start?
Absolutely, green flags will fall any second now. And they do. Tejasvi off to a very bad start. Deepak getting an amazing start. Already getting past Tejasvi there. Moto going side by side with Tejasvi, going through Orouge and Radion. Tejasvi losing the rear and almost hitting the rear of Moto, making him spin out. And both of them, by the looks of it, have managed to get a very good start and are already making a gap on Tejasvi, who is almost under pressure by FIFA Kanak. Deepak being put under pressure by Moto. Both of these guys starting to fight each other already. Not something you guys want to be doing, guys. Just keep it calm and keep on continuing. FIFA Kanak right on the bumper of the other McLaren ahead of him, of Tejasvi, and taking down the inside to block off from FIFA Kanak in the rear there, but FIFA Kanak doesn't want to go for a move anyways. We can see Faizan in the background going around the outside of another car, He has made the move stick by the looks of it. So great move by Faizan. While we continue watching Moto and Deepak just closing on each other. Almost half a second, almost 7/10 gap to Tejasvi from Moto. And yeah, these guys are off to a very, very good start here. Very, very clean, no contacts.
Well, Tejasvi was just caught napping there and he paid the price. This is exactly what we were talking about. These two absolutely pouncing on that opportunity. You saw Moto right at the start, darting to the left to make sure that he capitalized on the fact that Tejasvi really did not react off the line. And yeah, we've got the ideal scenario right now with Tejasvi, who's slowly getting his tire into the working window, slowly waking up to the fact that there is not a clear track in front of him, but there are two cars and they are his rivals, and he is going to have to bring out that raw pace of his to come back and show them who's boss.
That certainly has to be one of his goals. Not too far away from Moto and Deepak, although Deepak is slightly further ahead from Moto than when you compare Moto's and Tejasvi's gap. Yeah, Deepak is a second ahead, whereas Tejasvi is only half a second behind. So, yeah, as you said, definitely not over. And after a rough lap 1, I think Tejasvi is right back at it. And that is someone going off wide there. Car number, I can't tell. Car number 5. Oh my god, that is a very bad start for Nevan Shakya as well. He's gone into the wall while trying to avoid the spun FIFA Kanak. And that is both of hitting that wall. And yeah, well, FIFA Kanak is just too far behind after spring. Not sure if he has damage. Both of them have RTG'd though, so clearly severe damage on both of their ends, and I don't think they will be coming back out unless they do want to have a shot at whatever is left because they're already a lap down at this point. So I guess the best they can do is hope that the other cars around them collide and perhaps make some positions off of that if the other car does decide to RTG or stay in the pits for a long time, but currently that does seem highly unlikely.
Oh boy, what was that? FIFA losing his rear end at the top of Eau Rouge, spinning out, and then just became just at the worst possible spot there. But all eyes right now on the move. Tejasvi is bringing out that pace, going into the Blanchimont corner, down the inside of Moto. Very, very close between the two of them. Luckily, no contact, and Tejasvi makes quick work off that Porsche and moves up into P2. Oh, the man is on a mission right now. The gap is 1.7 seconds. The pace is there. Even with that overtake, he is a little bit faster than Deepak. Moto simply did not have an answer there. So yeah, that is Tejasvi for you. He is out for blood and he is not going to be waiting around for that opportunity to strike.
Doesn't look like Kiran's doing it the same. Right behind Faizan at this point. I don't think he'll be going for a move going up Eau Rouge and Radion, but I think there is definitely a move coming up Camel Straight as we watch both of them head on through. Faizan not getting a very good exit out of Eau Rouge and Radion, almost squeezing Kiran out there. They're both not leaving each other any space at all. And now side by side coming through into, again, I do not know the name. Faizan does manage to stay ahead by braking much later, using up all of the brakes of that Aston Martin. And oh no, it looks like he had a bit of a snap going through mid corner there and just could not keep that position. Unfortunate, but a very bad mistake from Faizan.
Yep, I mean he paid the price, but luckily he was able to maintain some amount of control of that car and not smash into the wall. So at least he continues on, which is what you definitely need for those oh so precious points. Having said that, 5 seconds added to Muhammad Faizan's time there. So we'll have to wait and have a look on why that is the case. It might be a lap one incident which we missed out on, but yeah, the stewards are already well on their way to be slapping our drivers with any misdemeanors that they are showing out on track. But the story at hand, with that spin from the like of FIFA Kanak is that Viman Shakya was also caught out as the result of it, and he had to take a lot. He had to deviate a lot from the racing line uh, to not make contact with the FIFA Connect, and that resulted in him losing control and smashing into the barrier. The two cars out there who have really suffered as a consequence of that mistake, and they are now, if you can look into the minimap, very, very far away from the rest of the grid, and it's going to be a lonely rest 35 odd minutes for these two drivers. So unfortunate scenes for these two characters.
Yep, absolutely. And Faison's got on 5 seconds for forcing Kiran off track, which is interesting. It's not interesting. It's not right in front of us. So, yeah, that is a 5 second applied to his race time. I don't think it's servable either, and there's no point in pitting anyways. There's only 22 minutes left in this race. Tejasvi, after clearing Moto by quite a mile, right on the rear of Deepak Raj, and he will be looking to follow him through and close in by quite a bit. I mean, we have had the talk about the smooth driving styles since the beginning of this qualifiers. But the one thing that we do notice among the likes of Tejasvi is that he is smooth, but also does not make any corrections mid corner, and of course is extremely consistent to go along with it. Whereas when you look at someone like Axel Sam, who we saw yesterday, and I brought this point up yesterday as well, he is very smooth with his inputs as well. And of course, that does help him save the tires, but he's not really as aggressive, I guess, as he is with. As he is compared to Tejas is what I wanted to say there. So you can very clearly tell the difference in driving styles between these guys, but somehow they all end up somewhere close to each other in terms of lap times. So it just goes to show you that regardless of your driving style, achieving around the same lap time is very much possible if you know what you're doing.
Yep. But it's the difference between Axel Sam, who is no doubt a fantastic racer. He was struggling a fair bit in the session. I mean, he doesn't really have to worry too much because he has qualified for the semi-finals, while Tejasvi here has to keep it smooth, has to keep it consistent, has to keep the pressure on as he gets so close to Deepak Raj there, thinking about a move around the outside or just putting on the pressure to see if Deepak Raj cracks, but nothing doing so far, and they are staying status quo. They're just slowly but surely at some point, that Audi is wide. I mean, look at that rear. There's so much of it. If it starts to come to a point where he has to use more than the car's width to really push back on Tejasvi, it might start hampering on his pace, and Moto is 2.3 seconds right now behind this leading pack, and from what we could see and is evident right now from the timing sheets, the Porsche, surprisingly, which is supposed to be really good on the corners, is struggling in the middle sector, which is the technical section So he's lost around 3 tenths, 4 tenths in that middle sector, and that is really going to be hurting his chances of picking up the scraps if at all there is an incident between these two folks right here. But yeah, the gap is all but disappeared with just under 2 tenths. Oh, Deepak has gone deep into the corner and it's gonna have to start defending the likes and making that Audi bigger than it is, thicker than it is. And yeah, with the next lap on its way, though Deepak is not on the edge of the track. He's using defensive lines. He's looking to see where he needs to move at what point to ensure that Tejasvi remains on the back of him. And this next exit is going to be absolutely crucial as they go up through Radion. Wow, they've taken like every inch of the circuit there, and definitely see that Tejasvi did as well. But that top speed of the McLaren not helping his cases in this regard. Why, the looks of it, yeah, Deepak Raj still keeps that P1.
Yeah, well, talking about Moto, he's just right there in the background. He's not too far away, so picking up the scraps won't really be too difficult for him in case something does happen between Deepak and Tejasvi. But yeah, I mean, it's not really looking good for Deepak. These sort of unlikely mistakes, things that we don't really see from Deepak, have started to come out. I guess that pressure is starting to mount up onto Deepak, seeing two cars just in his mirrors. Of course, one much closer than the other, but of course, it's not easy for anyone. Forget about Deepak. It's not easy for anyone to see when you are in the lead, and you're pretty much halfway to the race, and you see someone who is on pace or much faster than you, closing in by quite a lot, puts a lot of pressure on you to perform. And yeah, obviously, Deepak is suffering a little bit right now because of it. I think he needs to just keep his nerves calm, as he always does do that, and then continue on with the race and go on about his day defending off from Tejasvi, because it is kind of helping the situation out, because Moto is starting to close in as well. He'll have to defend the inside line here, and he does do that, forcing Tejasvi round the outside. Tejasvi does break much later. Deepak has the outside for the next corner and remains on the outside, has a great run. Both of them still side by side as they come across the line. Moto getting a brilliant view of this. Deepak slightly ahead. Who will break later going into turn one? Oh, Tejasvi just turning in onto Deepak, not giving him the space that Deepak needs to make that corner. And Deepak for sure has damage, and that will be something the stewards will be looking at, while Moto looks on forward to catching up to Tejasvi, if that is even possible.
Oh boy, things are hotting up at Deepak Raj is just straight lining that corner in retaliation, saying absolutely not, how dare he take that position in that manner. This is absolutely outrageous. If he had a radio to the stewards, he'll be like, black flag this man. It's unbelievable what he just done, and he's just walking away with it. That is super unsportsmanlike from the likes of Tejasvi. So the stewards will definitely be on top of that. But as it stands, we've got a change in the lead of the race, with the man who qualified on top finally getting, probably not in the cleanest of ways, it has to be said, so we'll have to see what he gets slapped by from the folks up above. But as it stands, he's got a 1 second lead. Moto being an opportunistic driver that he is, with the Assetto Corsa Racing, Porsche moves up into P2.
Moto clearly, I mean, his car, his Porsche, is supposed to be suiting that sector 2, but ironically, he is kind of struggling in sector 2. So, oh, Tejasvi with the 5-second penalty. I don't know why I was so surprised at that. Pretty much expected to come his way. And 10 seconds? Okay, that was unexpected. But I guess the stewards are really harsh today, and I wouldn't really say harsh. I mean, these kind of mistakes from someone like Tejasvi should really not be coming in. And if anything, if I mean, yes, Moto and Deepak will be up a position. But if these guys start fighting here, Kapil, Moto, Tejasvi, as well as Deepak, if they all start fighting here, or if say Tejasvi makes a big mistake, let's not forget that Shan 7 is lingering around that 11-second gap to him. Tejasvi has a 10-second penalty. And if for whatever reason in the dying moments of the race that gap does fall down, he will go from P1 all the way down to P4. Shan 7 will also be sitting on the podium in P3. So it has become extremely crucial for Tejasvi to not make a mistake at this point and continue on forward while trying to create a bigger gap. Because if he does make any mistakes, as he has done just about that, not only will he lose a position to Moto and Deepak, he'll lose one to Shan 7 as well. And the last thing he wants is to be voted off the podium despite having such great amounts of pace.
Well, the one thing that you can definitely know what's going on Tejasvi's mind right now is it's hammer time. We've got a little over 12 and a half minutes to go. Let's see how many quali laps can I put out in this mighty McLaren. I need to get that gap up, and I have no time to be making silly little mistakes. Gotta bring that gap up corner by corner, sector by sector, and I need to be as close as possible to that 10 seconds. I need to make that gap up, and I need to make sure that or try my level best with that pace that I know I have to undo the damage that happened between the likes of Deepak and Tejasvi. So he's already definitely getting it on. The gap has increased by over a second this lap, so definitely spreading his wings, and he's got a lot more where that came from, and he needs to keep that pressure on. For the likes of Moto and Deepak, they are currently looks like fighting for P1 right now. 2 seconds is the gap between Moto and Deepak, so you will have to wait and watch whether that gap does come down, because Deepak slightly has more pace, but Moto looks to be possessed right now. He is driving to the limits. You can see that McLaren slowly driving away, and it's just something in him is sparking, because he's putting out some fantastic laps right now in, I believe, what can be said right now as the net race lead. So we'll have to wait and watch how that transpires. Oh, so squiggly out of Radiona, as Moto likes to put it. That is something that he'll have to keep an eye on, so that his car doesn't just wash away and completely loses the plot. That's the last thing that you want when you're in such a strong position, but all to play for with just under 11 minutes to this race to go.
Yep, a lot of pressure mounting on these guys because Tejasvi is not making the life easier. He has continued to pull away that gap, and last we saw the gap was around 2.5 seconds. So, if you leave it up to him, I mean, look at that, the gap's already 5 seconds to Deepak. I mean, albeit Deepak is going to suffer from a lot of understeer, the dirty air from Moto's car, and on top of that, you're gonna have, that damage that he has. So, certainly it's not going to be easy for Deepak to stay within that 10 seconds in the next 10 minutes. But yeah, I mean, Moto is looking quite delighted right now because he is quite convincingly in, unless Tejasvi just, I don't know, like, does very, very good laps. I don't think it's really possible at this point. With 20 minutes already over of this race, almost 9.5 minutes remaining in this race, I doubt, amazing lap times as such can be achieved. But the least Moto and Deepak can do right now is just go in and do what Tejasvi is doing. Start trying to do qualifying laps, because anyways, your fuel load's going to be quite low at this point. So you might as well go for the risk as considering the gap behind them. Shan is around 10 seconds behind from Deepak, so they won't really lose a position even if they do make a mistake and like spin out, as long as they do recover in time. So uh, yeah, I think they need to start pressing on forward towards Tejasvi once again. If not, I think staying within that 10 seconds gap could be a very difficult task.
Well, they are definitely trading lap times right now, Moto and Deepak. And the one thing that I feel could be coming up, coming soon in terms of this battle is, as of right now, Deepak looks to be a little bit faster than Moto. That cap slowly coming down under a second. This is definitely the place where the Audi is stronger than the Porsche, at least between these two drivers. Moto's just been struggling a little bit more in the middle sector, so that gap's going to be coming down right now. Now the gap is 6.5, so Tejasvi is definitely pounding on that accelerator throttle with the smoothest of inputs to really push his way as much as he can out of that 10-second window. It's coming. Time is running out, but he is on it. So it's looking good for him right now. But the one thing that might aid him in the process is that if Deepak, in the hope of getting that net P1 between these two right now, they might start battling and start slowing down each other. So in the looks of things, that battling might further that gap in pace between the likes of UT Cool Guy, aka Tejasvi, and these two. So these two have to be very careful not to slow each other down, because while they might be battling each other, they're definitely battling against the clock, more importantly than each other. So they'll have to keep that in mind in some perspective and work together, like you mentioned in the beginning, slipstream of each other, see how to minimize that gap, because that is exactly what needs to be done to get onto the top step here at Spa.
Yeah, especially for Boto, that's become an even more difficult of a task now. 6.5 seconds to Deepak, with 6 minutes to go. So that's how much has. Okay, so the gap earlier was around 3 or 4 seconds 4 minutes ago. So he's pretty much taking a second and a half away from Deepak here. So Tejas is really putting in those lap times, and even Motors hanging around that 5 second gap now. So yeah, definitely the last thing that they need to do is fight with each other here, because if they do end up fighting with each other, then yeah, I mean Tejas, despite a 10 seconds, is just gonna run away quite easily. Well, it's just really looking difficult right now for Deepak to get up a position. I don't think Deepak at this rate will be able to finish on a P2 with Moto on a P1. Moto on a P1 is still possible, I'd say, because he's not really chewing too much time away from Moto currently. But yeah, that damage is definitely not working in the favor of Deepak at this point.
Well, we will keep a close eye on these times. Tejasvi will definitely have that on his radar as well. Let's just walk through the field, shall we? So as it stands, we've got Tejasvi in P1. I'm that McLaren Racing 720S Evo. You've got Moto in P2 with Jadu Porsche racing on that lovely Porsche. Behind him is Deepak Raj in the Audi. P4, who is 12 seconds behind, so he's definitely out of that window. But yeah, there is still no saying if there's going to be a mistake. The lead Ferrari in this battle, 5 seconds ahead, is Sean 7 from Kiran Fernando in that blue Ferrari in P5. So that's your top 5 as it stands. You can just see him at the backdrop there. These Ferraris sticking close to each other, just having that Italian heritage going up for you. P6 from what I can see on the top of my screen. With that 5-second penalty, do you have any news on that penalty? Do let me know simply in a moment's time. But yeah, Mohammad Faizan in that yellow golden colored Aston Martin in P6. So he started out in last position and moved up to P6. So good start from him. We still yet to know if there was any incident, because he did quickly get up into that position. P7 for the other Ferrari. So a lot of Ferraris and a lot of McLarens here in Group B. So the debutant James Robin, aka Dark Knight, in P7. P8 and P9 are the fallen McLarens. You got Optimum Motorsports, FIFA Canuck, who really suffered from that loss of traction and that damage, and Niman Shakya, the biggest loser, who had that horrific crash at the top of Radeon, very reminiscent of other incidents that we've seen in the past in P9. Back to you, Simply.
Well, that 5 seconds was for forcing Kiran off the track in lap 1. So we saw it ourselves. They're going up Boruj and Radion, and Kiran was pretty much just forced off the track. And yeah, that is how he gained a position on him before, of course, making a mistake and let Kiran by anyway. So yeah, that 5 seconds for nothing. But I mean, he is quite far from P7 Dark Knight, so I guess he'll take that for 5 seconds because it's not with the penalty points; it's just the 5 seconds, so it won't really add anything to him. He won't get a qualifying ban or any such thing. So yeah, he's in a good place right now, I guess, and he'll absolutely take P6 at the end of all of this. As far as Dark Knight goes, yeah, I think he's practiced much. I mean, he's not really known for practicing much because of his busy personal life. But hey, I mean, at least he showed up and he's putting in his efforts, and that is what really counts. I mean, even if you are not competing with anyone in a race with almost 2 minutes to go, when you are 30 seconds behind the car ahead and 30 seconds ahead of the car behind, it's completely fine to just drive around, because you still gain that little bit of experience, that little bit of track time, and you end up realizing your mistakes not only around the track but also in your driving style, and you work on them and correct them, and that is kind of how over a period of time you do improve. It's not very easy to improve in sim racing at all in a very, very short amount of time. So that is kind of how you just sit there and learn, and that is what Dark Knight is doing right now. And of course, as the time goes on, as the days fly by, we can definitely see an improvement from Dark Knight. Perhaps not in Esportz Premier Series, because I don't think he's made it into the finals. But elsewhere, we can expect quite a few things from him. And of course, for next year, who knows? Dark Knight could be in the position Tejasvi isn't right now, and be absolutely dominating the people. So anything can happen in quite a long period of time if you do put in your hard work and of course persevere. And of course, Tejasvi is persevering right now and putting in all of the hard work. 7.5 seconds to Moto, 9s to Deepak, with one more lap left. In my opinion, he should just slow down, let the timer take away, and just. But I guess if he wants to go on for another lap, I guess he can do that. I mean, of course, it does better his chances. So, all to play for here. Leader on the final lap. Deepak has to remain within that 10-second gap. He cannot let it extend over that as they cross the line. So, a lot of pressure mounting on Deepak as he does start catching up to Moto. Niman Shakya getting a drive through. I believe it might be for his track limit. So, day were not gone good so far for Niman Shakya, and it might not be gonna go for Deepak and Moto, because once again they have caught up to each other. This to kind of help Deepak out, because of course he gets that slipstream. Of course, Niman doesn't have the slipstream, whereas Deepak does. So it will kind of help him out. Sorry, not Niman, Tejasvi. Yeah, I think in the long run, we just have to keep our eyes focused on that timing board at this point. The gap is lingering around that 9.5 second gap. Half a more lap to go. Who knows who's gonna come out ahead?
Oh, so close right now, and if you could look back, Tejas, we crossed the line to start the final lap with just under 10 seconds. He could, I mean, if he was any closer, if the battle was close between these two, he could have just lost that lead, but this extra lap proving to be absolutely fruitful as the top two are, sorry, the second and third position are fighting away win the last lap, and I think it's going to hurt both their cases right now. Deepak being someone who's pulling down Moto, slowing him down because the gap is right now 9.4 seconds with Deepak at 9.8 with just a few more corners to go. This is where the straight line of the McLaren is not as good, but it's just around 10 seconds, so it's going to be ultra close between the pair of them is lingering around the 10-second mark. So Tejasvi is going to be coming across the line to finish in P1. Moto goes deep and now has to make a defensive move. There's a switch back from Deepak Raj. They're going to go side by side into the finish line. Who fronts out first? It is Moto. Just by I think less than a tenth of a second, and Deepak Raj will have to settle for third. But with that extra that 10 seconds and that extra battling, we'll have to see who actually did finish in P1 because the timing board is all jumbled up. But we will let you know that that defensive move, that mistake from from Moto might just well have lost him enough time to make the winner of the race you know go back towards the likes of Tejasvi. So we'll have to wait and watch what that is because it shows us that he's P4, which isn't really adding up. So I'll have to, yeah, I think because the folks are leaving the session, so we'll get back to you on who's actually won this race because it's really close. But yeah, that was a stellar end to the first race of day 4.
It was. It's not for his darkness. Okay, no, he's not. So a few cars still yet to cross the line. Car number 5, he'll cross the line. And now, oh yeah, Dark Knight and Niman Shake. These guys are really far behind from the rest of the pack. And I mean, Niman Shake has just entered Sector 2. He's just going through. Oh, okay. That is a very odd place for Dark Knight to lose his car. Sure what's happening at this current moment with Dark Knight. Maybe those tires are too hot. Maybe he just needs to calm down and drive. I think Ashray from Qualifiers 1, the guy who's qualified already for semi-finals and has also won the cash prize. I think he is race engineering for Dark Knight and guiding him through. So yeah, well, a bit disappointing end for Dark Knight. Niman Shake is still on a lap. He is not too far from the finish though, but that was an odd ending for Dark Knight there, just spinning out on the last lap and still being in no man's land. So yeah, these guys all the way back here were really just driving by themselves and just collecting their thoughts as to what's happened. And of course, Niman Shake will be greatly disappointed as finally he comes across the line and oh, are you looking at the timing sheets right there, couple? Tejasvi has taken the win by half a second, and that's clearly slowed Moto down. That's clearly slowed Deepak down. That last little mistake there, and both of them have lost out on a crucial set of points there just because of one mistake. Tejasvi crossed the line with a 9.9 second gap. It could have still been possible for Deepak as well as Moto to be in there as long as they were far enough from each other. But it just happened to be that they were too busy fighting each other. They didn't give each other any space, and that is how it's happened to turn out. Both of them, well, have missed out on a solid chunk of points right there, and it must be really disappointing.
Yeah, that's an amazing, an unusual finish to race one. I must say that extra lap proving to be so fruitful for Tejasvi. So yeah, congratulations to him on winning that first race. We're just going to take a bit of a breather from all that exciting racing. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes' time for race two, where we go into the streets, not street, the circuit of Catalonia, Barcelona, for a tight and technical circuit of 30 more minutes of racing to come. So take a breather. We will be back with you shortly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. That was a very interesting race one that we saw right behind us. And yeah, Tejasvi winning by a very unexpected margin. I mean, of course, it was helped by the fact that Deepak and Moto decided to have a kerfuffle right on the last lap where it mattered a lot for both of them to stay in. And Tejasvi won by just half a second because of his 10-second time penalty. So, Kapil, what do you expect for Barcelona? Because I've just seen quite a few of these guys, especially Deepak during the break. He was practicing for Barcelona after, I believe, 2 or so months. So, what do you reckon we can expect from these guys? Because, of course, they have a very nice habit of practicing for the first track, but not for the second one.
Well, it is not. It is a more ruthless track in terms of its corners. You've got bigger sausage curves. You've got curves which can just eat you out and throw the balance off. So if your car's on the edge, if you've got an aggressive setup and drive like it so without full control, you're definitely going to be spinning out. And if it's a situation where they're not on the top of their game, if they don't have their wits about them, I'm expecting some carnage definitely in lap 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, we did see, a lot of carnage at Barcelona just yesterday. I think it was. So, yeah, these guys absolutely relentless at Barcelona. I mean, mistake after mistake is something that we saw consistently at Barcelona, and I mean, it is bound to happen if you're not going to sit there and practice for. A track that, especially a very technical track like Barcelona. So I think it is quite crucial for these guys to actually perform well. I mean, yes, now they'll be driving a lot on instinct rather than their muscle memory. So yeah, we'll have to see how they adapt. It's not going to be easy to do it, but then again, these guys have a lot on the line, so they better get used to the track.
Yeah, and we're just about ready to go. They just be in the middle of the track, and it's green, green, green. We've got 3 wide, almost 4 wide, right as the lights go green. And this is the spectacle that we've been waiting for. Who's going to be breaking the latest? Moto on the inside, Deepak sweeping around the outside, pushing the McLaren wide, more contact. And yeah, we've got an
They
absolute
just be spun.
pandemonium. Yeah, Tejasvi spun. Niman Shakya had an amazing start moving into P3, now in the lead, McLaren. But Tejasvi from P1 to P last in a matter of seconds. Now is the real challenge for him. I mean, if P3 was bad enough at the end of lap 1 for Spa, how is P10 with all those cars on a tight and technical track? Oh boy, this is a very, very spicy beginning for race 2.
Yeah, I mean, they just be a complete polar opposite as in terms of position, just where he was before and where he is now. So yeah, Deepak and Moto, well, they can easily pull a win. Aman Shakya in P3, 2 tenths away from Moto. Doesn't look like 2 tenths. I think the timing was a little bit messed up. There you go. A second and a half end, Aman Shakya there. You can see Mohammed Faizan and Fifi kind of going side by side through some corner. Not sure what's happened there between the two of them. Tejasvi, by the looks of it, is struggling. I do think a few penalties are coming a few drivers' way though, because that's Faizan who spun around. Kiran looked to be going slow as well. I wonder if there is contact between the two of them. I'm not sure what's happened. Car number 5. That's FIFA Kanak who spun out. Was there a 3-way contact between these guys by any chance? Faizan overshooting the corner, cutting it across. That's definitely a warning coming his way. Absolutely no idea what's happened there. So somehow Tejasvi is back up into P6 just on lap 2. While Moto is still hanging very, very closely to Deepak Raj here. In fact, closing in by quite a lot. So I'm not sure about the damage situation on Tejasvi's car, because he got tapped from the rear and then someone hit him from the sides of his car. and then there was even more contact from the rear, after which he spun. So maybe he's lacking a bit of downforce, but I don't think that's really going to be hindering someone like Tejasvi, who is quite good at adapting clearly.
Yeah, and it looked like the entire pack came and took their shot at Tejasvi right now. And after that incident, Tejasvi is now taking back revenge bit by bit, car by car, and moving up the pack. Within a lap and a half, he's moved from P10 back into P5. While on the left of his screen, you're seeing the hot battle for the lead. Moto is right on the diffuser of Deepak Raj there. He's got the pace advantage as of right now. He's just ringing that Porsche, making it sing around the corners, using the true strengths of that Jada Porsche racing race car. And yeah, he will definitely look to keep that pressure on the back of Deepak to make sure that he doesn't get away and he gets his opportunity to win this Grand Prix, because as it stands, it's a wide open bet to who's going to take the reins, because Tejasvi is back almost 10 seconds to the likes of Deepak. And yeah, Deepak is in a very good position right now. Don't you agree?
He's in a amazing position right behind Deepak. But yeah, if they really want to stay in this position until they cross the checkered flag, they have to start pulling away a bit more. Like right now, rather than going into slight tire conservation, just push. At this point, just push, because Tejasvi is already up into P5, around 8.5 seconds behind these guys. The last thing you'd want is for Tejasvi to close in, which of course someone like Tejasvi will end up doing anyways. We can see Tejasvi as apologies. This is Shant 7. Tejasvi is just now coming through turn 9. This is Shant 7 who's on the rear of Naman Shakya there, and the both of them are fighting it out for a P3, a provisional P3. And of course, they're giving it their tooth and nail, because this kind of opportunity doesn't arise too often for these guys, since they are solid midfielders. But of course, when you have people like Tejasvi, Deepak, and Moto taking up the top 3 spots, well, it's just going to be harder and harder for them to keep those spots. And you can just see Tejasvi closing in by quite a bit. The gap was 5 seconds to Shant 7. Now it is 3. So clearly, this fighting is not helping the situation. Neither is it going to be helping Moto or Deepak out, because the more he closes into these guys and the quicker he can get past these guys, the quicker he can catch to Moto and Deepak. So as I was saying earlier, they literally have to give up their tire conservation. It's fine if they're slower towards the end, but just make sure you can start making that gap bigger and bigger, because by the time Tejasvi clears up all of that traffic, it does have free air in front of him until he reaches them. The gap should be big enough to the point where it will take him multiple laps to catch up. And of course, so when you do have dead tires, and it's not like Tejasvi is not pushing, even though the McLaren is quite good on the tires, of course, in the efforts to push and constantly fight it out with the cars around him, it could be kind of an equal situation where all 3 cars have the tires worn out. And of course, at that point, just Moto and Deepak just have to go too wide everywhere to just create a blockade for Tejasvi to not pass, and that will be pretty much the end of that. As we also watch FIFA Kanak and Faizan fighting out for the last in this race. Dark Knight's right there as well. And this is an unfortunate position for Faizan, considering he was much further up the field. Could have been fighting for the podium at this point, but not sure what's happened. He did spin around at some point, and now he's this far behind.
Yeah, I have to echo the phrasing for FIFA Kanako. That's Faizan getting all out of shape. They're going down the inside, and again, it's being spun around. FIFA Kanak is just hyper unlucky at this point because he's just had nothing but incidents throughout the entire day. He's not had a good start to the race, and this is just like a nail in the coffin at this point because he is way out at the back of the field and he just got that pace, but unfortunately, just being caught up in these incidents with drivers and really, really being thrown about and in the worst way possible as well. So, really unfortunate to see there. But the big winner this time around, Niman Shakya, is in P3. He had a fantastic getaway. Positioned his car very well. Him and FIFA Kanak were side by side going into turn one. So one definitely got out to be the winner, and the other was unfortunate, the loser in this situation. Himan Shakya is, yeah, the gap is definitely increasing to the lead, and Tejasvi behind him is so quickly catching up. But as it stands on a technical track like this, Himan Shakya is in the podium position with Shan 7 also getting a clean getaway, making a little more and a few more mistakes than the likes of Niman Shakir. But yeah, these two are the big gainers from the mid pack as of right now.
Absolutely. How long can they keep that big gain for? We don't know. Because Tejasvi is only a second and a half behind them, and yeah, he is here to ruin their days once again and maybe take that podium away from them. I won't be surprised if he does do so. But yeah, the question really remains. See, that's one thing that, of course, Moto and Deepak will be concerned about is the fact that Tejas is catching up. But if these guys can hold up Tejasvi, if Shahid and Shakya can hold up Tejasvi, then it could be good for them because fighting already costs a lot of time, and when you're fighting with even slower cars, it's just going to lose you even more time here. And currently 6.5 behind Moto. For all you know, after fighting those guys, that gap could be 7, 8 seconds, maybe 9 seconds as well. So all Moto and Deepak right now can hope for is that Shan 7 and Shakir really make Tejasvi's life harder and just do not let him buy in an instant.
Yeah, the train definitely is forming there for the last podium spot. And Tejasvi, in probably the matter of the end of the lap, is going to be on the back. Chance 7 is pushing Nimana across and is also going to have to start defending. Are they going to be working together at this point and see how it goes? We'll have to wait and watch. But Tejasvi, from the looks of it, has sliced through half the pack. But this is where the competition is going to get a little more fierce. But is getting the right exit where it comes. It's right there behind that Ferrari. Going to tuck out of the slipstream at the right possible time, but right not tucking in. Just getting a healthy dose of top end there, and I have a feeling he's going to break later than Sean 7. So sweeping around the outside. Sean 7 putting up a brave fight there and actually sticking it back in through turn 2. Moto there is also heavily slowing down. I don't know what's going on. Sean 7 with an absolutely fantastic defense from the likes of Tejasvi, but he takes a switchback and tries a move down the inside into turn 4. But they're still going side by side. This is fantastic racing. But Moto up ahead. Oh, there's contact!
Oh!
There's contact, and that is Tejasvi being shoved off the track. Chance of having absolutely none of it. He's going to stick to his guns, and he pushes him off when he was in a treacherous condition. But up ahead, Moto is dropping like a stone. I don't know whether if it's an incident with his car, whether it's his fueling, or it looks to be weaving to kind of indicate that there's something wrong with him. I'm not really sure what it is, but Moto has completely dropped behind Deepak there with a 13-second gap, and he was doing that last lap as well. And Niman Shakya, from all of this, has a very real chance of moving up into P2.
Yeah, well, Nivan Shakya, well, of course, be wondering what's happened to Moto. I mean, he was so far up the field, and now he is pretty much nowhere. Uh, and right in front of him, I think Moto's made a very big mistake somewhere, picked up damage from it, and clearly he's not able to keep it right now. Shan 7, I think, slowed down and let Tejasvi by. Nivan Shakya moves to the inside of Moto and sends it, but does break a little too late there. And both of them are still being side by side through turn 2 here. And now going through turn 3, the things have settled down just a bit since Shakya, of course, had to back out. There, no point in continuing onwards side by side through there. And Deepak is absolutely enjoying his 16-second lead while these guys just battle it out with in the back you can see Shant 7 and Kiran fighting it out. Shant 7 with a very damaged car. I mean, look at that Ferrari. It's damaged to the point where it's almost scraping on the floor on the right hand side there. So clearly that contact with Tejasvi has not helped Shant 7's situation out at all.
Yeah, and now he's being attacked by the likes of the other Ferrari. But the battle for P2 is not over. Their motor just simply unable to get past and defend. Oh, he's being shunted by Niman Shaki. And Tejasvi is going to swing down the inside and take the pair of them. No, he gets one McLaren. Will he go dive deep into the sector 3? They go side by side, taking a very defensive line. Is Moto, and there's a bit of contact and absolutely shut the door. Shaki using all of the track and helps him go round the outside. They've got 5 cars now who have joined in the battle for P2. Oh my god, the entire parade has joined in for the battle, and this is exactly the kind of racing that we want to see. Going 3 wide, the 2 Ferraris going side by side. At one point, Sean 7 missing his braking, going deep, making the corner somehow, but absolutely squeezing the likes of Niman Shakya. There, 2 battles right now. Tejasvi has well and truly made it back into P3 and now fighting against Moto. I think Moto just slowed down at some point just to have a little bit of more fun because Deepak's is just outrageous. But oh man, look at that battle from P4 onwards to 6, and this is pure racing here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's pure racing, but I don't think Moto slowed down on purpose. He definitely has some sort of issue with this car. Maybe a slow puncher. Maybe, he's actually hit something, because a sudden drop in pace like that is not something you see from Moto. Something has gone horribly wrong from his car. 5 cars still following each other, all fighting for that P2 right now. Moto defending with whatever he has, giving Tejasvi the most Max Verstappen treatment ever, just squeezing him out. Even though it's not required, he's still doing it, trying to get the car behind involved in the battle so that Tejasvi has nowhere to go at all. But Tejas is still trying to find his way as the inside for the next corner gets the move done. And now, unless Moto can do something about it on this straight, well, I think it's too late for Deepak, or rather too late for Tejasvi to do something about Deepak. And clearly, Moto is still somehow in this, gets a great exit, both of them going side by side, almost getting very, very close to each other into turn 1, and Tejasvi still defending the line. Moto has the inside line, and there's contact! Devan Shaki once again having to go off the track to avoid the cars there, keeps it on. Tejasvi getting hit once again in this race. My oh my, there are so many penalties that the stewards will have to already look at. And there's even more things that I have to look at now. Battle's not over. Kiran hits Niman Shaki off point, loses control of his car. And now Shank 7 is up into P2. My god, my throat hurts. Couple, please take over. And it's not even over from these guys.
Oh my god, this can't get any more spicy. The contact between the top 2, sorry, second and third. them taking each other out, and then in retaliation, the two Ferraris who were at the back of this train now in the front of this train. Kiran trying and trying as he might to go round, but that Ferrari of Shan 7 is just oh so wide. Moto slicing through to come back into the picture again, moving quickly into P5, disposing of Niman Shakya also quickly, and the two Ferraris ahead are just basically stuck together like glue at this point in time. There's just nothing separating them. Moto making a very audacious attack out of turn 1 in the last lap. He almost had it. He had the right exit. He had all going in the right direction for him. The two Ferraris going side by side and Moto being squeezed while the two Ferraris giving each other a slipstream. But that Porsche with that superior exit is going to be coming down into turn 1. Who's going to be the latest of late breakers? Who's going to give each other space? Kiran goes down the inside and pushes Shan 7 wide. Moto having absolutely none of it is also trying his level best. And now Niman Shakya is back into the picture. Keeping your car clean in this point in the race is anybody's game right now. And Kiran Fernando in that blue Ferrari has moved up into P2, almost 30 seconds behind Deepak. Oh boy, what is happening? Tejasvi now back into the mix, and so is FIFA Kanak. We have a new contender back into the fray. Do not count him out yet because we've got another car joining the mix.
Yeah, well, now there is 6 cars fighting it for P2. All of them have some amounts of damage, so it's pretty much equalized here. Mohammad Faizan with a drive-through, but he's nowhere close to this battle, so it will not affect in any way, shape or form. Kiran leading this group right now. Niman Shakya doing his best on a controller to stay ahead of the Tejasvi, as we can see Shan 7. Oh, that is even Shakya getting spun around, but he's not too far from those guys. But yeah, there was contact between Shan 7 and Moto, and unfortunately Niman Shakya had to be the one who got spun around there. So that's one less car in this battle for now. Seeing how these guys have been fighting it out like absolute dogs. I don't think that's the correct way to say it, but you get what I'm saying. They're fighting it out for territory over that P2 right now, and I'm pretty sure Niman Shakya can be right back into this race if these guys keep continuing onwards like this.
Well, the surprising thing for that territory of the sweet P2 is that Kiran has just got the pace right now, and he's actually driving away from these guys. He's actually slowly but surely separating from the likes of Moto. So Kiran in a fantastic position here to actually keep that P2 of this long battle for the podium position. So really looking good for him right now as we speak. But Tejasvi and FIFA Kanak, I mean, that guy has been completely battered and bruised in the beginning of the race to be so far out. But these guys have been battling so hard for so long, and they slowed down each other for that entire duration that FIFA Kanak has really brought out some inner demon to come back into the mix, and that is some fine quali laps that he's put in to come back to fight for the podium positions. Tejasvi, he is definitely not happy with the likes of Moto and his defending. He's been hit around by the entire pack in the beginning of the race, so he has a statement to make. He's definitely not one to shy away from the competition. A 45.8 from Kiran, 45.5 from Moto, 46.3 from Tejasvi as he was behind Shan 7, and now he's sizing up a move down at the 100-meter braking board, goes round the outside of Shan 7, still side by side, going onto the curb, and there's contact again. You just cannot go too wide there in turn 2. It's happened time and time again, but still these guys do not understand that is just one corner where it's simply too risky. and Sean 7 this time around getting the worst of it, and FIFA Kanak moves up into P5. Oh, there's the mistake from him. As I say that, that's an unfortunate curse that I've thrown upon him. He loses his rear end and spins out and moves back all the way down to P7 as Niman Shankar picks up the pieces.
Yeah, well, that has been an interesting turn of events now. Yeah, Deepak's, I mean, he's just gone. It's impossible to catch Deepak. Faizan, let's take a break from this pack. Let's go over to Faizan. He had a drive-through. He went into the pits to serve the drive-through, and he's come out with a stop go 30 seconds because he sped into the pit lane. I mean, I know that the pit lane for the pit entry line, apologies, for GT cars and the F1 cars is a few meters in difference, but I mean, these guys should be used to it at this point, and such mistakes are not going to help him because so far Faizan wasn't lapped. Now he has to serve the stop go, and he's going to come out right between Tejasvi and Moto, considering the gaps stay as they are, and that's okay. No, actually, he's going to come out further behind. I apologize there, but he's still going to come out in that pack that is fighting, and he's going to cause even more chaos than it already is right now. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if that's how it's going to be, then I guess that's how it's going to be here at Barcelona.
Yeah, I think a bit of too much practice for the other track and not enough, as you rightly pointed out. Just blindsiding the likes of Faizan here, it is severely paying the price. But as it stands, Deepak Raj well and truly in P1. P2 to Kiran Fernando. He has been putting in some blistering laps, if I may say so. But Moto, he wants that P2. He's earmarked it for himself, and he will do everything in his tracks to ensure that that position is his. Apologies. So he is trying his level best with around 5 minutes of racing to go to try and get that position back, which he so rightfully wants and feels he deserves. P4 is Tejasvi, starting from P1, went to nearly the back of the field and again got battered and bruised by the field a second time in that epic duel with the entire mid pack. So he's a couple of seconds, around 5 seconds behind Moto and closing. So we'll see if there's any more tales to be witnessed here with in the dying moments of this Grand Prix. But yeah, what a stellar performance from the entire field. This is just one time where I think everyone was equally out of form, that it kind of evened the playing field. Yes, Deepak was one who ran away and happily thanked everyone for their services, but yeah, what an action-packed race. What an absolutely thrilling showcase that we've had on store.
I mean, it was 15 constant minutes of just action and even more action. All of them were just at it. They were, doing whatever they can to overtake the car ahead while defending from the bunch of cars behind them. And at no given point was there any big gap at all during that whole kerfuffle when it was happening. So I think that was definitely a great race. And I am also kind of glad that they have slowed down and calmed down now, because if they were to follow through to this chaos all the way to the end, I think it would have been disastrous for all of them, considering Niman Shakya got taken out and Shant 7 and Tejasvi had contact between each other. So if they just fought like that all the way until the end, I think there would have definitely been a massive chaos. Maybe all of them would have just piled up in one corner, and that is finally after the whole race, even the stewards getting a bit of a break from all of the stuff that's happened, and they've started dishing out penalties. So Tejasvi with 10 seconds got five first. Now he's with 10 seconds, and I think at the end of the stream is when I can tell you guys what's happened. Oh, actually, the report has just come in. Uh, Apologies, never mind. That's an old report. Never mind. But yeah, so I think I will tell you guys what the incidents were for, if I can at the end, or if not, then I'll just fill you guys in tomorrow. But yeah, I think the stewards definitely have a lot of work to do now.
Oh, for sure, for sure. They might well have to burn the midnight oil on this one with just a sheer volume of contact that's taken place here. And this 15 seconds now, another 5 seconds for Tejasvi, and that very well might bring him down to P6. Yeah, he might come behind Niman Shakya as it stands, with one more lap to go, as the engineer points out. 5 seconds for Moto, and that's luckily not going to lose him any positions at this point in time. But hey, they're still dishing out penalties. They try to get through it as fast as they can. But Kiran, I must say, from all of that, to come out and to really bring it out, his performance out, keep it clean, and to bring that pace out when it mattered, to push the rest of the pack behind, to slice through them cleanly and clinically. And yeah, that, I think, the driver of the day, honestly, the driver of the day to kind of finish in P2. Deepak Raj in that Audi probably is completely oblivious to what's happening. For the last 25 minutes, he's been on a drive, a chill drive, if you will, all on his own, conserving fuel, being a little economical if you want to, or just enjoying it out there on that lovely twisty track of Catalonia, Barcelona, as he rounds up the final sector. But yeah, an action-packed race. When we say it this time, we do mean it. If you had not had a chance to watch the entire thing, I definitely encourage it. If there's one race that you have to watch, it's this one. But having said that, Deepak crosses the line to win the Barcelona Grand Prix. P2 in the last sector, almost 25 seconds behind the likes of Deepak, Kiran Fernando in the 69 drivers. Ferrari 296 GT3 is going to finish in P2. What a stellar drive from him. P3 goes to Moto. A very uncharacteristic slowdown in the middle, and that 5 second will definitely hurt his cause. But yeah, a decent drive from him. Tejasvi, battered and bruised to finish. I believe it's going to be, might be P5 or P6, depending on how much Niman Shakya can push it through the last couple of corners. But the likes of, I believe, Shan 7 finishes ahead of Tejasvi after that penalty. And FIFA Kanak, well, he made it to the end. That's the one that matters the most. He got into the fight and got slapped in the face yet again. So to see him cross the line in itself is a miracle. So hats off to him on that bit. Dark Knight, a race of his own, polar opposites, to finish ahead of the likes of Mohammad Faizan, who will probably enjoy his penalty as he serves it Schumacher style at the end of the Grand Prix. And yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is race number 4 of 6 for Group B here on day 4 of Qualifier 2.
I mean, 70 seconds worth of penalties Faizan's gotten. It's not gonna matter. I mean, he was far last anyways. But mean, I'm out of words right now. That race was definitely something else, and we thought yesterday's Monza race was something to see. I am sorry, but this race has literally been the best race in terms of action and in terms of entertainment so far. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, go back and watch this if you're just tuning in now for whatever reason. But yeah. Usually, I mean, this is not something that usually commentators mention because it's quite obvious, but none of the finishing positions are finalized on track. Of course, the stewards may or may not give a penalty afterwards, and in the final standings updated on the standings website is the final positions, of course. But now I can't even guarantee that Deepak won because of the amount of stuff that's happened. For all we know, he's broken some sort of a rule lap after lap, and then he gets a 30-second penalty, and he's fallen back down to P2. So this race, genuinely, take the finishing positions with a grain of salt. And just wait for the results to be uploaded onto the website, because genuinely we have no idea where anyone's finished, because we only saw a few penalties come in, and of course post race, considering the amount of stuff that went down, a lot more penalties could be coming everyone's way. So genuinely, this time, take the finishing positions with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah, you absolutely nailed it there. And just to credit where due, honestly, because for people to keep their, yeah, sure, yeah. I think we've got some special moments here for this race with FIFA Karak and Faizan going side by side, and that's number one. That's the first incident. Then you've got the likes of Sean Seven and the McLaren of Tejasvi going side by side, and nobody yielding. This is just a constant theme throughout the race. That turn two is supposed to be a no man or a one man corner, but they just don't seem to be getting the drift, and then too wide twice across the sector, and at the end of it to come into a collision right there and sliding out, and luckily not taking Niman Shaki out in the process. Oh my god, what is going on there? See, what about the rest?
Yeah, well, I think a penalty might be coming Moto's way just for that weaving that he's done right there. And then this bit of collision where Nimanchake just rear-ended Moto and then proceeded to have a bit of wheel banging with Tejasvi. And Tejasvi, of course, overtook them after that. Shan7 absolutely sent a move there. Nimanchake on the outside got pushed off and then tapped by Shan 7. And yeah, Kirin got involved in this battle as well. So you can see quite a lot of collisions, of course, that happened. And then later on in the race, you could see Moto and Tejasvi hitting each other. And you can see Nivan Shaki having to avoid. Great reaction time by him right there. So yeah, that is some amazing highlights that have been provided. All the highlights of crashes. So I guess crash lights, I guess you can call them. But yeah, that was one hell of a chaotic race there. And once again, I wish we had a post-race show, but we unfortunately do not. So this is where we'll have to wrap up tonight. For Group 2, and tomorrow we will be back again with our Group 1 boys, and let's just hope less of whatever happened today in the sense of collisions. But if six cars want to go side by side, or at least try to go side by side through every other corner tomorrow as well, we'll absolutely take all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching tonight, and we really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like, and all of that stuff, follow the social medias, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
so desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay it down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. I hold on to every garment, won't surrender, not tonight. The shadow rises, I walk through the valley, but I won't let nothing take my heart away. I recognize the powers as they ready. Golden names, I break them one by one and dance to face. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay it down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. I hold on to every garment, won't surrender, not tonight. Won't surrender, not tonight. Won't surrender, not tonight. Darling, I've been tempted by the darkness, telling me that I should throw it all away. Fight so hard, my heart is hardly helpless. Find myself so desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay it down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. I hold on to every garment, won't surrender, not tonight. The shadow rises, I walk through the valley, but I won't let nothing take my heart away. I recognize the powers as they ready. Golden names, I break them one by one and dance to face. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay it down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. I hold on to every garment, won't surrender. so desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to let go. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for a light. I hold on to every garment, won't surrender, not tonight. The shadow